Hello, and welcome to this expert session on content modeling options. So today's topic is about explaining you all the possibilities offered by Nuxeo Studio when you have to design your custom models. So first aspect is about thinking about the containers logic. So for instance, if you are an insurance company, maybe you want to create cases. So a case is the form that you fill in electronically through a website. Then it generates a PDF. And in this case, you will add new documents in that. So it can be a picture of the accident, it can be the copy of the ID or whatever documents. And if we are thinking about the retail industry, we aim at storing product information. And maybe that product you want to store clauses which are red, other that are blue. So you have to consider if you will create new objects and where these objects will be created within Nuxeo platform. So when building a container's logic, the first idea is to create a folder subtype. That is pretty easy in the Nuxeo platform. Just have to navigate to the document types entry and create a new one. So if we are thinking about a claim document type, so in this case, this will be a folder. And this is it. The second idea is to use the folder-rich facet. As you may know, every document type has associated facets. So a facet is a capability or a set of schemas that are attached to these document types. And facets are also inherited when created a subtype. The difference here is that you can attach the folder-rich facet to a file document type. So it's like you can store a file inside another file. And it can make sense sometimes to get this behavior because the claim is a PDF at the end, which corresponds to the electronic form. So if we're going back to Nuxeo Studio, we will create this time another claim, which inherits from file. But now I will activate the folder-rich facet. And because I've activated this folder-rich facet, I will be able to add children document types. So now for the documents that are attached to this claim, I've got several possibilities. First one, I can use the regular attachments because it's inherited from file. And there is also another option that is using a blob property. So let's say, for example, I want to upload my driving license. So I can create a special field here called driving license that is type blob. And from the user perspective, you will have a button to upload a file. So as any document property, it can be multi-valued, so we can have several documents if needed. So now, if we have to think about all the main important points that have to be considered when building the containers logic, first one is to know if we need to apply a specific document type or add specific properties to our files. So in this case, I could consider the driving license as a regular file. Or if I need to perform a search and find all driving licenses, I would need to create a document type. And even more, if I want to retrieve specific properties of my driving license, typically the expiration date. Also, if you know that your attachments need to have a dedicated lifecycle that is different from the container one, or if you need to generate renditions for the attachments, so it probably means that you need a specific document types. According to the container, a folder-rich document will list children documents, whereas a file will list the preview of the document. So you have to be careful about this point. So let's go now to the second topic, which is handling relations in Nuxeo. Generally, you have two options. The first option is to create a specific property of type document. Building a document property is pretty easy. So you just navigate to your document type, create a new one, and select document field. Then if we go to the corresponding layout. So for instance, let's open the create layout, and we can see that Nuxeo Studio has generated a Nuxeo document suggestion. So a user is able to have a list of values, so a list of claim in this case, and he can perform a search to find any claim from its title. So to create a link between two documents, we've got this option, but it is also possible to create a custom Nuxeo relation type. So precisely at this point, there is a documentation page which explains you how to create a new relation. So it's a bit more complex than just having a property, because you will have to create two new entries to specify the type of relationships you have between two objects. And then, when it's done, you will have to create your custom elements to display these relations. So if we want to sum up, use an Nuxeo relation type if you need bidirectional relationships, because on the first one, it will be only a one-way relation. Using a document property brings you a lot of flexibility, because you can create a custom operation that will be called within the suggestion to retrieve a specific document type, and you can even use a page provider or a custom search to find the document that should be linked. Also, if you need to have a custom display on your documents, using the document suggestion is the right way to go, because you can display, for example, a thumbnail, display the ID, the path, and so property directly in the document suggestion. Also, you have to consider search capabilities when you want to retrieve related documents. So now let's go with a new topic, which is folder structure. When you deploy a content management system, a popular question is knowing if you have to replicate the existing folder structure. So we've got several options there. The first one is to set up a really simple and minimum classification plan and use intensively the Nuxeo document model with document types and properties. The second one is to use a rich classification plan with a poor document model, because we consider in this option that users want to access their documents with browsing, not searching. And finally, we can have a mix of both options. So in this scenario, it really depends on the use case you have to face. In some cases, user wants to really browse to find the document, and in others, they are really used to use the search form. But one thing that is really important to consider is the Nuxeo security, because you don't have to forget that permissions are inherited from the parent folder or parent document. So if you put all the documents in the same folder, it will be really complex to have a specific security logic. So I really consider that you have to think about a minimum set of folders and subfolders when you have to store some documents. And finally, if we are storing documents inside complex folder structure without creating document types and properties, because we think that the document location brings enough value, then you don't have to forget that if you extract this document from its context, you will lose a lot of information. So here, my recommendation is to store within the document some information of the folder location and to parse the document path. So typically, if we are talking about storing a product, and this product is stored within a year folder, so 2019, we want to create a custom property called year storing this information. And we have all what we need in Nuxeo Studio to get this value and store it in a specific property. With that, you will be able to navigate and find the document and also perform a search. So this is all for this first session. See you in the next one.